everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be another episode in my series of looking at the American Girl outfits and talking about how historically accurate they are. I know a lot of you have been eagerly anticipating today's video because it is all about Addy. Now, if you are not familiar with the story of Addy Walker, she, as a child, has escaped her enslavers along with her mom and escaped up to Philadelphia to freedom. Her stories are seriously incredible. Like, she has the best American Girl series, period. Highly, highly recommend. And also they did such a great job with the doll and her wardrobe. So if you find that today's video is maybe a little bit more positive than some of the other videos in this series, that is why. Spoiler alert. If you have not seen the other videos in this series, I have already actually done 3 other videos. One that was on Felicity and Elizabeth, 18th century, with tiny bit of Kaya in there, and one that was on Caroline and Josefina with that sort of early 1800s, and then a third one that was on Kirsten, Marie Grace, and Cecile in the 1850s. So now we have moved on to the 1860s for Addy's collection, and again, this is one of my favorite collections that American Girl has ever done, and I think you'll see why over the course of this video. So this right here is Addy. However, we are actually not going to start with Addy because I want to show you her meet outfit first. So as with the other videos in this series, I have basically taken a lot of the dolls in my collection and then dressed them up in mostly the outfits that I'm talking about, generally leaving behind like their own accessories if that outfit did not have its own like shoes or socks or stockings or hats. So you will kind of see an amalgamation of styles here. For example, Melody is wearing her own shoes, stockings, and even her headband. She's brand new, so I wanted to leave that on there. And she is wearing Addy's meet bonnet and Addy's meet dress right here. I will talk a little about Addy's meet shoes with another outfit just because I am not 100% positive where in my shoe collection they are at the moment, but Addy has 2 pairs of shoes that are very similar, so we will get there later. But again, this is Addy's meet dress. She gets this dress in the story once she has escaped to Philadelphia, and it is just a lovely pink dress with a really subtle tiny woven in stripe there. Just really simple, nice pleats here on the skirt, and then a little bonnet. Now the bonnet, I would say, is relatively accurate. Really, by the 1860s, the shape generally had fanned out a little bit more. This is almost closer to a late 1840s or early 1850s shape. That said, obviously, Addy and her mother do not have money when they first escape their enslavers, so them wearing outfits that would have been out of fashion would have been completely accurate. So in that case, I think that this is a totally fine bonnet, and we can also see again that this is a really nice basic dress. It doesn't have any elements that were like the in style of the 1860s, but it's still completely accurate to what she could have worn. And I appreciate that it is kind of a simpler material, a little bit more homespun. And I believe, if I'm remembering her story correctly, that her mom made her this dress. Addy's mom was a dressmaker, so actually it would make sense if probably all of the dresses in Addy's collection were actually made by her mother. And now we can move on to Addy herself. So Addy is wearing her school outfit here along with her 2-tone boots. I love her school outfit. It has all of the hallmarks of the era, meaning that we have a pagoda sleeve here with a little white blouse underneath, kind of similar to like a Garibaldi blouse, and that blouse has nice full puffed sleeves, so we see that sort of puff underneath here. We also have a lovely full pleated skirt with the box pleats that comes up to this nice pointed waist here, almost kind of mimicking a Swiss waist. And then we have little pin tucks on the blouse as well. And I think that this is just a really great example. Like, we've got some of the soutache trimming all over this outfit. It's just a really great historically accurate example of what honestly probably someone of a slightly higher socioeconomic class would have been wearing, but it is beautiful and it's actual wool, I think. I'm pretty sure these were made out of real wool, and I just really, really love this dress. It's so well made, and these are 3 separate pieces, so you can, you know, mix and match them and everything. She also has her little spelling pin right there. I love that. And then talking about the boots, we have these 2-tone boots where we've got kind of this spectator style. They lace up on the inside, which is extremely accurate. And these are canvas with kind of like a patent leather toe and heel. Again, these are so accurate for the era. I just love it. She is wearing her pantalettes and her stockings that come with her meet outfit. These are a yoke style pantalettes, meaning they're built onto this little yoke. Again, that's so accurate for this era. And then she just has really nice simple stockings that go up past her knee, black ribbed knit stockings. So accurate. Like, I just love how accurate this outfit is. And I think you're gonna hear me say that about a lot of the outfits in Addie's collection. Everything is just seriously so well done. There is also an alternate version of her school outfit. I'll pop a picture of it up here. This was her Be Forever school outfit. I don't own it because the original was so good that I just didn't feel any need to own the later one as well when it's not quite as good in my opinion. There is also, while we're at it, an updated Be Forever meet outfit, this one right here. Again, like, it's okay, but it just doesn't have the details that are talked about in the book. And so I've never felt the need to acquire this Be Forever meet outfit either, when her original meet outfit is just so classic to Addie. I can't remember the exact order of what book and what outfit go in which order, so I'm gonna do these in kind of a random order. I hope you'll forgive me. But this is Felicity wearing Addie's birthday outfit. This is another one of my favorites because if you know me, you know I love a pinafore dress, and that is exactly what we have here. And you know I love gingham. So we've got this beautiful gingham check that actually has additional detail within the gingham. Hopefully you can see that there. I love her little triangular pockets. The little, it almost reminds me of like German lederhosen, the way the pinafore part works. But again, I think this is pretty darn accurate for what a child would have worn. You don't see this sort of style for adults in this era. You see it later, like once we get into kind of the turn of the century. But for adults in this era, this wasn't common. However, I feel like I have seen children's wear. If I have, I'll pop up a picture over here. And then we have like a little trim around the neckline, which rickrack, that wasn't really a thing. The little faux buttons right there, because this does Velcro up the back. And we have a little double puff in her sleeve here. So again, I feel like there's some details in this one that are a little bit for effect, not something that would have been actually accurate. Like the faux buttons, the double puff sleeve is not as much of a thing either, or like the rickrack trim, which they just didn't use rickrack trim at the time. But overall, very, very cute. It does also come with a snood. I believe that, oh, actually no, mine does have feathers. So yeah, there's little feathers tucked into her snood. To be honest, I can't remember the details of why. I want to say they're like her neighbor's bird's feathers, but it's been a little while since I read the book, so I can't quite remember. But snoods were very, very common in this era, and so I love that the dress came with a snood as well. Next up, we have Caroline here wearing Addie's Christmas dress. Now, if you have read the books, you'll know that this Christmas dress was actually made for some other like little rich girl who then didn't like the dress, and it got returned back to Addie's mother, and she wound up giving it to Addie for Christmas. And I love, love, love this dress. That said, I don't actually find this one all that accurate. If anything, I feel that this has a much more Victorian air to it than it does 1860s. And by Victorian, yes, I know that the 1860s are part of the Victorian era, but by Victorian in this case, I mean turn of the century. This feels more fitting towards like the late 1890s than it does to Addie's era in the 1860s. It does have a nice full gathered skirt, like nothing wrong with that. It's really just this collar neckline treatment that feels much later Victorian era than in Addie's time. So we have this cute little beading lace ribbon right here and a little high collar. We do have a short sleeve, which doesn't feel like it makes much sense for a girl in Philadelphia in the winter in 1860s. but it is cute. I'll give them that. And then we have faux buttons, and we have a sash that is actually attached to the dress and then ties in a bow in the back, a nice big full bow with little fringe at the bottom. So again, it's a very cute dress, but considering how accurate so much of Addie's collection is, this is not actually one of her more accurate pieces. Here we have Courtney wearing Addie's original summer dress. I really love this outfit. This is a lovely cotton print. We have this really full kind of fan front detail here in the front. This is kind of a faux belt. It's built in, so it is actually one piece dress, and this belt is sewn right in. And then we have a little gather at the top of the sleeve, and it bells out a little. This does actually do pretty decently for a summer dress of this era for a child. It has the drop shoulder that was so popular in the 1860s, and then we have the cute little white collar up at the top as well, which again was incredibly popular in the 1860s. And the lengths of all these dresses, by the way, for children are also accurate to the 1860s. She would have been wearing her pantalettes with all of these outfits, and you would have seen the pantalettes peeking out the bottom of the skirts. That's just how children wear was. The dresses were shorter, and then we had pantalettes underneath. We have a nice little flat boater hat with a little ribbon around for a band at the top, and I think that this does very well for a summer hat of this era as well. And this dress also, originally you could get a pin for it. I don't have the pin, but there's a little brooch that would go right here, which would have set it off very, very nicely. But overall, I think this is really cute. Again, I love the cotton print and the little fan front detail with the yoke neck. Just really, really great for this era. Now, this is a case where I actually do have the alternate Be Forever dress. This is the Be Forever summer outfit right here, and this is Cecile who is wearing it. And I feel like we can't see a lot of the details because right now we're covered up by this apron, so I am going to take the apron off. Now, I don't know 100% if this apron shape right here is truly accurate to this era. I'm not as well versed on aprons. That said, the bodice itself, you're going to see this shape of bodice a lot in Addie's collection, and the bodice itself is a really good look at the era where we have the ruched, again, kind of fan front-ish bodice right here into the waistband, and then the full skirt that gets gathered up to that. We have like a little, it's not really a yoke, but it's kind of a little flat detail, I suppose, up here at the top, and then a fitted sleeve with a ruffle at the bottom. These sleeves are not drop shoulder. I kind of wish they were because drop shoulder was really, really huge in the 1860s. We have a really nice subtle plaid on this. I hope you can see this and that it's not totally washing it out, but a nice subtle plaid on this fabric, which is just very, very nice for the 1860s. This outfit did also come with its own two-tone boots, this time a slightly more summery look. They're canvas again, not patent leather this time. They're just matte leather or matte faux leather, and then the side lacing, which is really, really great. So yeah, overall, I do really love this outfit, which is why when I found a good deal on one, this one goes for a lot. When I found a good deal on one that was in my price range, I snapped this up like about a year or so ago. And yeah, it's just a super, super cute outfit. I can't decide which one I like more. However, the other one is the classic one from the stories. So I think that one wins out a little bit, and it includes a hat, which I think is great. And then Kirsten is wearing Addie's winter coat. Now, I do have some of the accessories that go with this coat. Like, it comes with knitted mittens, knitted like leg warmers, kind of like, I think they call them knee warmers, really. They're meant to go kind of around the knee, like above the stocking where your knees might get a little cold. I do own the knee warmers. I only own one mitten, so I would love to have another mitten, but I only have one. And then I don't own the hat either. There was like just a small, I think, green kind of round hat that would have gone with this outfit. But I love that this coat is really, really evident of the shape of the time, because remember, this was hoop skirt era. So coats wound up being very, very wide around the skirts so they could get over those hoops. And this one is just really cut beautifully to be able to do that. And we also have the wide pagoda sleeve that was really popular at the time. I also really like how this one is trimmed. I don't necessarily know that it's completely accurate because I find that this detail right here is a little odd. It almost looks like a faux scarf that's been attached to the coat. However, I love that we have functional buttons and we also get that plaid carried over to the sleeve as well. Overall, very, very cute coat. Speaking of hoops, you can also purchase hoops for Addy. So Nellie here is wearing Addy's underwear set, and that comes with a lovely little chemise right here with, it's got a button detail, but it does actually Velcro up the front. I love the yoke. Like, this chemise is completely shaped like how a chemise should be. We've got a little bit of detail here with our eyelet lace trim, same with around the neckline. The one thing about this chemise is that it does seem shorter than it should be. Like, a chemise generally I feel like should go just a little longer. This one's really quite short. Now obviously she would be wearing the pantalettes with this. Addy is wearing the pantalettes right now, but these are the other shoes that I mentioned. So these are just like Addy's meat boots, except these ones are blue, the other ones are black, and they're just a nice low boot that laces up the front, nice and simple, and quite accurate for the time. Now, of course, we do also have the hoops here. There are actually 3 pieces of steel in here. However, because they're all around the bottom, I feel like it doesn't quite give us the shape we need. Like, we should have had them maybe spaced out a little bit more, just because we kind of get that lampshade effect going on here where like it could push in and then could come out. The other issue that I have with the hoop and petticoat, I guess I should say first off, I love this petticoat. It's such a great shape. Love the ruffle, love the fabric. It is really wonderful. And we've got the pleats here that go away from the front and into kind of a box pleat in the back where we have the Velcro closure. But I love the hoop and petticoat. However, Addy has 1, maybe 2 outfits in her entire collection that can actually fit over the hoop and petticoat without the petticoat showing. The petticoat is the real problem here. I think a lot of her outfits can fit over the hoop, but the petticoat is actually longer than most of her dresses. I would say this one right here is one of the few exceptions where it can fit over, and I haven't tried it under the work dress because it doesn't make as much sense, but the work dress is one of her longer dresses, so I would imagine that it would fit fine over there. If you pull the petticoat way up, like under her armpits, it does work well with this one, but otherwise the petticoat really is too long for the birthday dress. However, it does provide that really, really lovely shape. So I wish that her other dresses were long enough to fit over them comfortably. So this dress that Josefina is wearing is called Addy's Striped Dress. It goes with one of her short stories, but I have not actually been able to find really anyone's short stories. Like, they don't have them in my library. So I have only read, I think, maybe 1 or 2 short stories out of the entire American Girl collection. But I really, really love this dress. I think it has such fun details. I love the orange striped fabric in it, and then pairing it with that sort of like multicolored check is so fun. And we have ruffles out of the check on both the sleeves and on the skirt. We get that double ruffle and then the waistband as well. Here we definitely have that fan front detail. This is a bit of a fuller sleeve than I feel like would have really been common, where we have the fullness and then it comes back down to the wrist. That wasn't as common, but I love like the Peter Pan shaped collar, the ruffles on the skirt. All of it are just those like little details that are really great for this era. The skirt is super full. That's why this one does fit over the petticoat quite well, because it is so full. So yeah, this is definitely a really great outfit, and what a fun color as well. This is Addy's Stilting outfit. I believe that this also goes with a short story, but I'm not really sure. I hope so, because otherwise I'm a little bit lost as to why she would need a stilting outfit. But this actually came with like wooden stilts as well when you first purchased it. I do not own the stilts, however, I just have the outfit. So this outfit is very much a bloomer outfit of the era, which I think is such a fun thing to have. So the details between this versus like a bloomer outfit, they're all pretty much spot on. We have this gathered front bodice, we have a pleated skirt, and then this has the faux buttons up and down the front. However, it does close with Velcro in the back because, again, you know, doll dress. This is when they would have had a fuller sleeve because it allowed for more movement. So a full sleeve that was gathered into the wrist was very common in a bloomer outfit. And of course, we have the bloomers to match. So these are just wonderful matching bloomers. They again have the same plaid trim that is all over the dress as well. These have an elastic waist, which obviously it wouldn't have had elastic then, and then a fitted cuff down here. But I think it is just such a fun item to have, such a fun callback to a very, very niche item in history. And what a neat thing. I would really love to figure out why it is that Addy has a stilting outfit. This absolutely adorable outfit is Claudie wearing Addy's work dress. And I think that this is just like perfect on her. It matches her bow and everything. This is Claudie's actual bow, not Addy's. And I have just loved this outfit too for a really long time. So this one we have our like work pinafore. So this is very sort of work driven, like this is not style minded at all, but we have our lovely little plaid pinafore with a high waist right here, which is something that was on children's wear, but I feel like again it's more of a later Victorian item when you see that high waist. Like that's something that they did in Samantha's time especially. But the dress itself is a nice basic dress. So Claudie is a little slim, so it looks baggier on her than it ought to. A lot of the newer dolls are quite slim, but we have just basic fitted bodice with kind of a wide sleeve, and see how it's wide here at the cuff as well. That would have been just fine for a work dress because you could very easily roll up the cuffs and, you know, push them up so that if you're doing laundry or yard work or anything like that, you would get them out of the way. And we have our faux button front as well, and then just a gathered skirt, not super full like some of her other skirts. So again, it works really, really well as a work dress. This dress that Yvette is wearing is Addy's Sunday Best dress. Now this one, to be honest, I feel like is the least accurate item in Addy's collection that I own, at least. Potentially I'd say the least accurate, period. This is a later make because a lot of times, you know, American Girl made things that were not as accurate as Pleasant Company. Though I have to say, for Addy's case at least, most of her later outfits are also accurate. But here we have kind of an odd fitted bodice where you'll notice that we have like a yoke up here and then a really, really wide waistband and like a short fitted bodice right there. That's not something you would have ever seen. Plus this little short sleeve, again with like the elastic in the sleeve, just little short puffed. It's not a thing. I do like that the skirt is pretty nice and full, and I like the ribbon trim around it, but it's just not quite right. I also feel like there's something, I don't know, there's something else about it that's not quite right. I do like that it's a small print, nice small print there. And I also actually, to be honest, I kind of like the color. This was the time of like aniline dyes, so you were seeing a lot more bright colors coming out. So that is totally fine to me. I also like the shape of this nice sort of flat hat right there with the little flowers on around the crown. So that part's great. It's really, I think, the shape of the bodice and sleeves more than anything else that makes this one a lot less accurate. And then the last Addy outfit that I have in my collection is this one that Marie Grace is wearing. Now, this was called multiple things depending on when it was released. So at one point it was her kite flying dress. At another point it was a flower picking dress. Some people just call it her blue dress, though of course now her meat is blue, so there's that problem. I love this dress. This is one of my absolutely favorite Addy dresses that I own. I think it is just so gorgeous and light and airy. Hopefully the details will come out in here, but you can see we've got that sort of fan front look here. We have this sleeve with all these tucks in it, which almost winds up making it look ruffled, but this is very common that you would see of like a summer dress for children of this era. And then we even have tucks on the band around her waist, and then we have all of these tucks in the skirt, and the skirt is this like sheer Dobby stripe. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this in here, but you can actually see through it. There we go. Now it's catching the light. You can see through it, and it's what I know to be called a Dobby stripe. And even the yoke has those little tucks just All of the details in here are so beautiful and light and summery, and I just seriously love this dress. It's so, so pretty, and I'm so thankful that I found a good deal on it because it's another one that can be really expensive and difficult to find. And in fact, I recently picked up another copy of this really at a good price locally. So as of the time of releasing this video, I may or may not still have that to sell. If you are interested and you want this dress, please go ahead and send me a message over on Instagram at Lady Rebecca Fashions, and as long as I still have that, we can make that sale happen. But yeah, I absolutely love this dress. I think it is just so pretty. Speaking of Addy dresses that I absolutely love, there are two Addy dresses that I am still looking for that I have kind of resigned myself to the fact that I'm probably never going to have either of them. Both of them are very, very expensive and very hard to find, and you will see why. I will pop up some pictures of these here, but the first one is the one that I want second most, which is Addy's sewing outfit. Right? She's a sewing outfit. As far as I can tell from the pictures, the dress is cut very, very similarly to both like the new version of the summer dress and also to that blue kite flying dress in that shirred front bodice. I think that's what's going on underneath the apron, and I love the loud plaid. I'm a big fan of loud plaids, and in the 1860s you do see some kind of bizarre plaids going on. So yeah, I love that outfit, and I love that it originally came with tiny sewing accessories too. Like, it's just so adorable. But the piece de resistance of literally every American Girl outfit, the number one American Girl item that I wish that I could have, is Addy's Cape Island dress. I know that if you're just looking at this for the first time, you may think, oh, it's just a pretty dress. And that's fair. I love the shape of it. It's again that same shape as like the kite flying dress, minus the tucks on this one, and all of that soutache is just amazing. But the reason that I really, really, really love this dress is that it is actually a copy of this dress, which is from the Wisconsin Historical Society. It is an extant girl's dress from the era, and American Girl created it for Addy. And I think that that is so great. So that is why the Cape Island dress is my number one American Girl item that I am trying to find for a good price, because my problem is that I refuse to spend more than $60 on any American Girl outfit, and this dress goes for multiple times that. So that's why I'll probably never own the dress. But you never know, because I do actually have one other item to show you, which got, well, I guess left out, I should say, of my Kirsten video because I did not own it then. However, I recently found it locally for a scream of a price. Like, I was so thrilled to see this item in the listing, and that is Kirsten's promise dress. This is another one that I thought I would never have, and it's another one that is incredibly historically accurate. So remember, we're going back to the 1850s now. We have in the 1850s a lot of this weird, like, kind of diagonal Bertha look, and that's what we have in this dress here. We've got the diagonal Bertha look going on. We've got kind of a fan front underneath that, this amazing plaid belling into a small pagoda sleeve, because remember, this is still the 1850s, so the pagoda sleeve was popular then. Love the scallop detail on that pagoda sleeve, so great. And she even has a contrast calico facing underneath this skirt, and it feels very homespun. Like, this is a rough sort of homespun fabric. I love this dress. I never thought I would be able to get this dress, and then I found it for just like a scream of a deal locally. So very, very excited. Hopefully someday I'll find the Cape Island dress as well. But I just had to share this little Kirsten piece with you before we get too far away from Kirsten's timeline. So that is it. That's everything that I have for Addy. Again, her collection is really, really fantastic. There are a couple of other items that I didn't mention that are dresses that I don't necessarily plan to get. and are not necessarily like super historically accurate, so that's why I have not planned to get them, like her patriotic dress, for example. So yeah, that said, I love the Addy collection that I do have. I love all her pieces. I think they're just so good. I think this is one of the strongest collections from American Girl, just overall, including even the more recent stuff that they've come out with for Addy. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video. Again, this is part of a larger series, so I will link the playlist to the previous 3 videos down below. And the next time that I have a video in this series, it will be on Samantha's collection. And I know that Samantha is a lot of people's favorite, so I think that that will be a very fun and exciting video, especially because she has such a humongous collection. If you liked this video though, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from me, please go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. I do post videos here on YouTube at least once a week, with sewing vlogs out on Tuesdays and sometimes additional costume related content like this out on Saturdays, but I post every day over on my Instagram, so please go follow me on Instagram. That's at Lady Rebecca Fashions. And if you'd like to help support all of the work that I do on this channel, I do have links to my Patreon and my Ko-fi down in the description below, or you can send me a super thanks or join my YouTube channel memberships right here on YouTube below the video. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my Edwardian level patrons, Mirage, Jean, and Janelle. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Happy sewing!